even want to go. Even when you give them a parole, they tell you, no, they'd rather stay because at least they get free food. They have made friends and ties and bonds in the prison, because some of them is for life. But sometimes you get presidential pardons that interrupts, the flow of things and tells you, okay, you can go. After having stayed for, let's say, imagine 30 years in one place, and then you're told to just go into a life that is unknown. So some of them would rather stay back in prison and just keep eating their free food and living their simple life until when they die. Or some of them would want to dare the new risk that is before them of an unknown life because they believe that something can come out of it. Anyways, some of those prisoners came back. Some of them escaped. Some of them were never to be found again. They have reintegrated and probably are terrorizing some people or have decided to change into new life. Who knows that? But the news we have about prisoners breaking out or escaping is live and direct. And as is reported that over 119 of them have escaped as heavy rains destroy Suleja prisons. So people around Suleja and environs, you guys have to be more aware, or you have to be more, just be more conscious of your environment, new faces, some activities, people perching around or staying that you don't know who they are. You need to probably report. But the likelihood is that most of them would get into communities, and some would even leave the whole of that environment to other states just to escape coming back from prison. But 119 inmates of the medium security custodial center, Suleja, Niger State, have escaped following hours of heavy downpour which destroyed parts of the facility on Wednesday night. And spokesman of the Federal Capital Territory, Command of the Nigerian Correctional Service, NCOS, Adamu Duza, disclosed this in a statement this morning, that is. And he said a downpour that lasted for several hours on the night of Wednesday, which was yesterday. Remember that heavy rainfall yesterday, right? It wreaked havoc on the medium security custodial center, Suleja, Niger State, as well as surrounding buildings, destroying a part of the custodial facility, including its perimeter fence, giving way to the escape of a total of 118, even though the headline says 119 of the facility. And according to him, the service was immediately activated or has immediately activated its recapturing mechanisms, and in conjunction with sister agencies so far has recaptured 10 of the fleeing inmates and taken them into custody while still in a hot chase to recapture the rest of them. I wish them the best with that if they are able to succeed. Duza said the service, if not unmindful of the fact that many of its, or is not unmindful of the fact that many of its facilities are still were built during the colonial era and they are old and weak, adding that the service is making frantic efforts to see that all aging facilities give way to modern ones. And this is evidenced in the ongoing construction of 6 number of 3,000 capacity ultra-modern custodial centers in all geopolitical zones in Nigeria, as well as the ongoing reconstruction and renovation of existing ones. The services wishes to assure the public that it's on top of the situation and they should go about their business without fear or hindrance. So that's it with the escape of the inmates and the subsequent announcement or press release by the Nigerian Correctional Service in order to address the issue. It's very sad that we have to always be reactive. We always have to wait for things like this to happen, to try to correct all the damage and try to, put together all the smeared reputation or whatever it is. Because many of the prisons that we have in Nigeria, we know that many of them are really old, very, very old. Anyways, nobody really gets to talk so much about the prisons as long as you have them in there and people are satisfied that they have gotten justice by putting people who have offended them or who have carried out criminal activities and they are put behind the bars. Nobody ever thinks of the fact that, okay, what if there's a prison break for one reason or the other? And this is one of it. We're not talking about the sort of Kuje prison break that happened as a result of, terrorists getting involved and attacking. And then, it made people to start going back and forth and talking about whether it was premeditated, whether it was a planned thing, or it was actually a prison attack or prison break that got people out of prison. But this is a different one in the sense that the prison walls gave way. And, very, very correctly that the prison spokesperson has admitted of how old many of these buildings have been. Many of them were built during the colonial times when the British were still in Nigeria and those facilities. Now, you can imagine how old those buildings will be. In Kaduna, though, when you pass around the building, you've seen that you get to see that the walls have been rebuilt and probably, fortified more. And that's what needs to be done. I'm one person who actually advocates that even as prisoners, their rights need to be respected. They should not be treated like animals. If you remember all those clips of inmates having to be jam-packed in one room like sardine, very, very pathetic and heart-wrenching video to watch, that people were in a room, thousands it looked, in one room in a Nigerian prison. And they said that, well, that's the prevailing condition in many of those facilities. But, well, whatever it is, I think prisoners also need to be treated fairly. They're serving their terms, and that is enough. They don't also have to be treated as though they're animals. And then apart from that, looking at the risk factors of keeping people like that in old, dilapidated buildings or buildings that already have suffered a whole lot of wear and tear without necessarily doing anything to maintain it, we know that one day this sort of thing will happen. And now it has, putting people further into danger. Yeah, because among those inmates are those who have been convicted of probably murder or who are mentally unstable or who still are very, 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 very much, in line with their trade, their stock in trade, which is crime and criminality. And a lot of innocent people would have to suffer for this because of this sort of negligence. Well, hopefully it gets fixed. I don't know what's the assurance of getting all the inmates back, because, I know that some of these inmates are smart enough to know that, well, they might get caught. And so, number one, some would have to go deep into the communities, or some of them would go as far away, from being found. One of the things, though, that may want to trigger, reactions that they might most likely not be found is like, okay, where will they get money? But some of them could rob people. They could just go rob people, collect money, and take the next bus or next transportation out of that vicinity so that they're able to go and start their life afresh somewhere, whether on proceeds of crime or whatever it is. So that's it. There's no assurance that you get them back. And in the course of them escaping, they've escaped justice. Because for some, they might probably be life. They're supposed to be served for life. Some are supposed to serve for 10. Maybe they have not even started serving, or they've just barely started serving, and now they've escaped from the long arm of the law. So it's a bunch of a whole lot. But that's the news coming there, with regards to inmates and all of that. Now, talking about the power sector in Nigeria, let's take a look at some reasons that have been given to why electricity or power may not necessarily have an end to the crisis anytime soon. If you are putting a timeline that, okay, maybe before the end of this year, or hopefully the end of this year, it might come to an end. Well, there might be just some disappointment for you based on this news on Vanguard, that there are strong indications that the power supply crisis plaguing the country may persist for a longer time as electricity and distribution companies, DISCOs, and the generation companies, GENCOs, are battling with outdated, obsolete network, inadequate maintenance of equipment, and dilapidated generation, passing below optimal capacity utilization. Several times since the last administration on the incessant collapse of the national, many have raised the issue. Stakeholders have actually said, well, we need to look into this issue of the national grid. It's been there for the longest of time, just like we're talking about the prisons staying, or having prisoners stay in a facility that was built way during the colonial masters' time, which we're talking about, decades back, and so on and so forth, over 50, running to 60, 70 years and all of that. And it's not realistic to continue to expect that those kind of buildings will house the number of prisoners, we talked about the overpopulation sometimes in these facilities. So definitely it will give way. It will give way. If it doesn't give way on its own, something will trigger it. And yes, the day has come that the rains have come, and now it has triggered the collapse. And it's the same thing we're talking about, with the national grid. The obsolete state of the facilities there is something that can only be imagined. No wonder we keep having incessant collapse of the national grid, causing a whole lot of national embarrassment, a whole lot of uncomfortable, repercussion for people who have to stay days on ending, sometimes weeks. Some people are even counting years without having electricity. And that's because we've not been able to solve that. We're still patching, we're still managing, we're still doing things over and over and hoping that it might give us a different result. Okay, we've heard at different times in our nationhood how government is making efforts to collaborate, to partner with international organizations, relevant, stakeholders, whether locally and internationally, to ensure that power is boosted, generation, transmission, distribution is boosted in Nigeria, and also probably having alternative sources. But yet it's still the same story. So that's why, any projection of the power crisis coming to an end pretty soon may not necessarily be realistic, because if this has to be sorted out, it will take a whole lot of money, even though we've seen monies being sunk in, and honestly, there is no commensurate result to see it. I mean, from the Obasanjo period, where I know that we talked about the $10 billion to down to the Buhari, or down to all the other subsequent administration, till this very administration, millions and billions and even running into trillions of dollars have been sunk into that sector. And the question is, how come we still do not have stable electricity? How come we do not have adequate generation? Because we have a certain capacity, but we're not even generating the power up to that capacity. And here we have a capacity of over close to 15,000 megawatts, but we're generating barely 4 or even 2,000 megawatts. And then even at that, it keeps coming down to less than 1,000 when the national grid goes down. So, yeah. These are the things we're talking about: obsolete networks, inadequate maintenance of equipments, dilapidated generation machinery, and causing below optimal capacity utilization. Of course, that has to be the consequence of having that. Similarly, the Transmission Company of Nigeria, TCN, is being weighed down by twin issues of technical and socio-political factors, as is reported on the Vanguard. Investigation revealed that the sector is suffering from low generating capacity, poor system maintenance, vandalism of electricity installation, ineffective enforcement of policies, surge in electricity demand, inadequate investment in transmission infrastructure, and technical losses, hindering discos from takeoff loads from TCN. It's also facing the challenge of substandard facilities, incessant vandalism of pipelines that supply gas to station, systemic corruption resulting in non-execution of awarded projects, undercapacity utilization, illegal connection, insufficient power allocation, huge metering gap, inappropriate network planning, huge indebtedness, low collection efficiency and maintenance of existing facilities, and building of new ones. So these are all the myriad of problems coming together to rob you and I of adequate power supply, of a stable power industry in Nigeria. Okay, so the poor power supply is negatively affecting not just households, but small businesses and even large businesses that have had to depend on electricity. And right now, many of them have had to fold up because they cannot cope. You turn for electricity, at least they were able to some extent afford it, up until when the surge or the hike in the tariff came, and then there wasn't even any commensurate supply or stability as one would expect. In the sense that people who are even said to be in the band A are having the same, if not even worse, than those who are in the band B, C, and D, because we have 5 bands, right? So you don't even know what's the difference between the band A and band B. I don't know, honestly, if we have people who have right now, at the time like this, 20 hours of electricity supply in the country. So basically, these are the things. So for a country that has gross unstable stability of power supply, then you would expect that households would be affected. You would expect that small businesses will suffer. You expect that even large-scale businesses would also maybe forced to fold up, because if there is no supply and then there is high pricing in terms of diesel, all the other alternatives, and they cannot cut even for their businesses, then most of the time, the best thing you see most of them do is to just fold up and say, well, we will just suspend this for now or move to another place where it may favor us much better when it comes to power supply. Okay, so these are some of the things affecting small businesses, large businesses that depend on expensive diesel and fuel to operate their generators, and many businesses are collapsing and is seriously causing economy to bleed. And speaking to the challenges, the acting General Secretary of the National Union of Electricity Employee, Dominic Igwebike, said the frequency of system collapse is mainly due to technical and socio-political factors. He said that the technical issues include power transformers, grid expansion and maintenance, availability / application of the SCADA and other power transmission technologies, generation capacity, etc. And there is also a shortage of trained, experienced and committed power system professionals. So let's stop at that with that story and take on this one. The EFCC chairman has actually addressed journalists and the general public, because I'm sure many of you must have listened to him and heard him talk about the Yahaya Bello impasse, right? We've had to ask the question as to the legality of EFCC wanting to arrest the ex-governor despite a subsisting court injunction against that. And many have said the EFCC have had to file an appeal to get that step down or to evacuate that so that they can carry on with their business or their statutory business of investigating Yahaya Bello. And many would agree that investigation is not a bad thing. When you're invited and you have nothing to hide, then go there. Even though the ex-governor has been crying foul and at some other point come out to say, well, he's not running away from them because they did not invite him. They only came in that style to take him away. But the EFCC chairman actually addressed, like I said, a group of journalists and Nigerians, and he said a couple of things. Some said, why is he taking it so personal? Because he went to the extent of saying that he will have to resign if, the quest to arrest and persecute the ex-governor does not, come up on board. Like, he would have to resign based on that. And some people are saying, stay clear of this. Do not get into the arena. Yes, what you're doing is right. That is the statutory duty of the EFCC and that you preside over. But do not get so involved or be emotional about this whole thing. Okay, he said a couple of things. Let's listen again to the things he said, and then we are back to begin to converse on this. It's 1:23. Stay with me.
But for years, you see that pendulum hanging. It will swing, it will down, but it will never cut off. So EFCC will receive all the attacks and all of that, then we're not going to give up. When we will do this work, this pendulum will not cut. It doesn't matter who's attacking us. We have this mandate, we will continue to do it until we are asked to stay on the stage. Also, to understand that it's not everything we do that is expedient for us to put out there because of the sensitive nature of our work. So maybe before after my address, after the engagement, we just find probably a way of working together, in a way that you understand what we're doing, so that before you go out there, at least have a bit of understanding of what we do, so that you know what to take out to the public. Child's school fee in advance. In advance, dollars. How much? 70.
Total is over almost 800.
$800,000. In dollars, yes. In dollars. $2,000. $720,000. Sorry. $720,000 in advance. In Nigeria that was going to leave government house. In a poor state like
know that for you to survive the high rate of inflation in the economy, you need multiple streams of income that never sleep. 10 Trade, a multi-asset regulated financial technology company, presents the...
This is Nigeria Info. Nigeria Info. Hi everyone, my name is Swat. That's the name my father gave me, but you can always call me Her Vocal Majesty. I'm the host of The Sunny Side on 95.1 Nigeria Info. It takes place every weekday, noon to 3 p.m., where we get to have all the lovely contemporary conversations. If your days are normally long and gloomy, well, not anymore, because I'm here to make it all bright and sunny for you. So join me. It's an invitation. You don't want to miss out.
Connection established.
Audio Jungle.
This is Nigeria Info.
Nigeria Info.
This is Nigeria Info.
Nigeria Info.
This is Nigeria Info.
Nigeria Info.
This is Nigeria Info.
With one Nigeria Info.
Outside the financial revolution. See, this work is a serious work. We are here working 18 hours. These are my people. 18 hours. I'm so passionate about the brigade for us to move forward in this work. A sitting governor, because he knows he's going, you move money. I mean, the particulars of offense is there. It's before court. Go and check it. Apply for our processes, please. You will get some of these particulars of offense there. Move money directly from government to produce the change. Use it to pay the child's school fee in advance. In advance. Dollars. How much? 70 what?
Total is over almost 800.
In dollars, yes. In dollars. $72,000. $720,000, sorry. $720,000 in advance. In anticipation that he was going to leave government house. In a poor state like Kogi. And you want me to close my eyes to that? Under the guise of saying I'm being used. Used by who? At this stage of my life? Used by who? By who? For crying out loud. I assumed office here. I didn't initiate the case. I inherited the case file. I called for the case file. I called for the report. And I said, look, there are issues here. Do you know on my honor, I put a call across to him, which ordinarily I'm not supposed to do. Just to honor him as a governor, as a immediate past governor. Sir, there are issues. I've seen this case file. Can you just come? Let us clarify these issues. I'm under camera. He said, sir, I thank you, my brother. I know, but I can't come. There's one lady, I don't know what her name is, maybe a senator, that she learned she had said, she has surrounded the EFCC with over 100 journalists, to come and embarrass him and intimidate him and all kind of stuff. I said, okay, if that is your fear, I'm going to pass you through my own gate, special man's gate. You will come to my floor. We will accord you that respect. I will invite my operatives. They will come and interrogate you or interview in my own office. What could be more honorable than that? In my own office. To allay the fear. Thank you, sir. I appreciate that. You know what he said? But can't they come to my village? That's what he told me.
Okay, you have been listening to the voice of the EFCC chair, Ola Olukoede, who was addressing journalists and Nigerians yesterday about the current status quo in the case of the ex-governor of Kogi State, making some very startling revelation as to why the EFCC has, all the moral backing and standing to go after the ex-governor, who he alleged, took from the state coffers $720,000 to pay school fees in advance, and how he also made a move to call the man, in terms of honoring him, so to speak. Many people have questioned that, but then is it that it doesn't happen? It does happen everywhere you turn. Being that he has held an exalted position like that. The EFCC chair said he put a personal call to the ex-governor, said, sir, well, why don't you come over? Let's talk these things because I'm going through these files. I did not even initiate this case. I inherited it. I'm looking through the files and I'm thinking that there are questions that need to be answered. Come over. And he said, well, he can't come because he's being set up for disgrace by, most probably, I'm sure he's referring to Natasha Apoti, the senator who had that back and forth with Yaya Bello, the digging of the trench and all of that to prevent. But she went to court, won, and she is right now a senator also, So according to the story that the EFCC chair gave, Yaya Bello actually made reference to the fact that she is planning to embarrass him by setting up journalists and other things. And he said, well, why don't you come in a way that's, I'll protect you. Come through my own entrance. But Yaya Bello said, well, he cannot do that he should come over to his village. Anyways, I found that kind of very hilarious to come to the village to do what, But the EFCC chair actually went ahead to say, well, he would go ahead, prosecute this case, no matter what it takes. And he also said if he doesn't do so, then he may have to resign as the EFCC chair. Many people have questioned why he would want to put himself into this whole stuff, asking, is it a personal vendetta? And some people say, well, it just only shows his seriousness and nobody should take that too serious. I mean, he needs to do all he needs to do, and there's nothing wrong in saying that. Lots and lots of questions around, this whole incident. And also the news that EFCC have withdrawn, their appeal in that case and so on. So much more, of course, will be revealed over time. The twists and turns will come in. Hopefully he gets to submit himself, because at the end of the day, it's not a perpetual injunction. It's not going to last forever, right? If at the end of the day this is vacated, then the ex-governor, if he has nothing to hide, like many people have been saying, needs to, more than ever before, submit himself for investigation. There's nothing wrong in investigating you, asking you the right question. And if you have the answers, please provide them. You'll be let go. And then if they have overwhelming evidence and take it before the court, then you come and prove beyond reasonable doubt whether you are guilty or not. And that settles it for us. Justice take its course, right? Because it has to be done. We cannot forever continue to overlook impunity in this country or overlook issues that need to be addressed, that needs to be answered because of position. Many a times people have lost their faith in the justice system or in the whole system, looking at it from the perspective of politics. Because when you raise issues like that, many Nigerians will tell you, is it not this? Just wait and see. Nothing will even happen. These people just go scot-free. They do all they want and they go scot-free. If at most, they are sentenced, give it a little time and they'll be given presidential pardon and nothing really comes out of it. But when it's a poor man on the street who dares as much as steal maybe some grains because he or she is hungry, then you get to be in prison for life without any hope of parole or even mercy in the whole case. So many have questioned the justice system, and how we can tilt that to make it a balanced society. So that whether rich or poor, high or low, whatever it is, if you go down the path that attracts some sort of penalty and punishment, then you have to face it. Nobody cares that you are ex-governor, you are the high and mighty, or you are downtrodden. Nobody cares about that. That the law is above every other person, even the president. We all come under the law. The Constitution is the supreme. So it says, do not do this, do not do that, and you go against that, then you have to answer for the consequences. But a society that consistently does not give consequences or does not show that it is really serious on making people deterrents to suffer the consequences of their action would most invariably continue to see a repetition and an emboldenment of people who would keep carrying on, in the way that they do, that causes the country to get stagnated without having to answer or dance to their own tune. So basically, that's it. I don't know what you think about the utterances of, the EFCC chair and his determination to actually prosecute this to the very end. Alongside all the other stories we've looked at case of the power sector crisis and why it may not end, because the mirror is a problem. It's a sea of problems that we have. And I don't know if it would be sorted out anytime soon without joint collaboration efforts of government, the private sector, and, all the relevant stakeholders, because it seems to be a very deep-seated issue, within the Nigerian power sector as it is right now. So people who are hoping, well, it's just a report. If there is a will, there is a way. I believe so. We've seen countries who have risen above, epileptic power supply to stable power supply because there is a political will. And some of these crises, too, are not far-fetched. As the report says, they are also tied to some political stuff to it. So are we ready to navigate through these very things that causes us a setback in the power sector, or are we going to continue to play some games around it and cause people to continue suffering? People are paying more and getting less. We have vandalism. We have socio-political crisis. We have infrastructural deficit. We just have too many issues that need to be settled with regards to the power sector, whether it is from the generation to transmission, distribution, and all the other chains that connect and bind this sector together. So that's it. Let's open up the lines and begin to talk and converse on this. You can call 0700 951 0000 and 08095974869. Then you can call the WhatsApp, which is 080 9993037. Send a message, or you can drop a voice note if you want. Let's start with this caller. Hello.
Hello, Swat. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon. Hello. Hello. Hello, Umar. Can you hear me?
I can hear you. I don't know if you can hear me.
I can hear you. Go ahead.
Okay. So I'm calling from there at the moment.
Okay.
So my first question is Ola Oluka supposed to be the deputy chairman?
Omar, I can't hear you. Your output is very poor. Very. Can you call a normal call? I guess that was going to help issues. This WhatsApp is not favoring you most of the time. I noticed that. Hello. Hello. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Yes, good afternoon. Welcome.
Yeah. Swat, my name is Jerry from Alcavales.
Okay.
Honestly, I have been for my hand. Seriously. Yeah, by now they have made them that governor. By now the governor have been free. Since when he come up from office, by now he have been working in state in Nigeria will be free. All this noise for AFCC will end. honestly, how many months former governor of Anambra State, Willow Banoso, spend in a AFCC hand? How many months Fauci spend there? How many months all those former governors visited EFCC spend there? The man, you are able to form my hand. Let him go. Nothing will happen. He will just negotiate with them. For me, the one will move for me. Because that is the system of Nigeria. The system of Nigeria doesn't stop people spending money. Honestly, start from the EFCC itself. How will Ribado end? How Mago end? How Bauer end? How Farida Waziri end? You understand? Billion van. How much is there for that billion van? They say the book missing EFCC. Are we talking of Senate President? Who will talk and leave order in Nigeria politicians? They are able to form my hand. Honestly, just behave like a desire Alice Madeku. Because of fear, he run. Why? He should come out and go. Nothing will happen, and nothing will happen. Even the one is.
You're so confident that nothing will happen. You're so confident that nothing will happen.
I'm telling you, 100%, nothing will happen to that man. Honestly. Nothing here is just making noise. Media trial. You only but will reach the just cause 6 months. Why is 6 months? Honestly, even the foundation of EFCC is rough. It's rough. The EFCC have to appoint it and confirmed by the president for what? Billion von. How about the billion von? Off your mic. How about off your mic? Even how Mago end, how Bauer end, how Farid how
all right.
End.
Thank you very much.
EFCC is not a crime fighter to me. Thank you.
All right. He says EFCC is not a crime fighter to him. Anyways, it's to you. Hello.
Hello. Swat, good afternoon.
Good afternoon. Welcome.
Thank you. Barka da zuwa.
Thank you very much. Nagode.
This is Comrade Haruna on the line.
Okay, go ahead.
But me, I still don't understand how some of us are handling issue in this country. If EFCC, they are not working, the same Nigerians will call this radio and say EFCC is not working. Now that they are working, they are trying to discourage them that they have personal interest in Bello case. Somebody who embezzled over 80 billion naira is being come and explain. And they try to give him a soft landing. He's asking EFCC chairman to come to his village and interview him. Let's call a spade a spade. Please, let us not discourage EFCC from doing her work. The mandate the Nigeria Constitution gave EFCC is to probe whoever that have served this country, having the state or whatever position, come and answer questions. Simple as that. Bello is running up and down. I'm even expecting Mr. President to make a statement over this issue because this is APC issue. At the end of the day, that trust, although I know the trust will not still be there, Kogi will not trust it if they will give us free and fair election. That is my submission. Thank you very much.
All right. Thank you, Haruna. Okay, let's take on this one. Hello.
Good afternoon, Mr. Swat.
Good afternoon to you. Welcome.
It's Weston Emmanuel.
Welcome. Go ahead.
Mr. Swat, I'm surprised that the former governor of Kogi State has reduced himself to this. The way he was talking when he was a governor, I didn't know that he would be so scared of a mortal being like the EFCC. For me, what is the big deal there? They only ask you come and answer questions. Nobody has put a shielding machine to shield you when you come there. Come and answer questions. Very simple. And he's running. Then on the EFCC part, for the EFCC chairman to come on air to tell us that if he doesn't arrest Yaya Bello and prosecute him, he will resign. Talk, that's talk now. The cheapest commodity, like I've always said, you can find in the market is talk. Yaya Bello is in Nigeria. He's not in overseas. What is so difficult? He has made that statement, a day has passed, second day. Before you know it, it will run into weeks. What is so difficult to get him arrested? It's here in this country. This is my take. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Wilson, for that contribution. Hello?
Hello, Adado Rama.
Good afternoon. Yes.
I don't know. This is not coming from Major States. I do pay people. You see, if you are doing something with somebody that don't have shame, I'm telling you, your life is at risk. It will never work because you may bring shame to your family, to your society, even to the country as a whole. You understand? There's some things you will do and say, no, I don't want to bring shame to my family. But in this our society, it's no more like that. Understand? I don't know. There is a movie we watched of the 90s. One Inspector Derek, detective, an American police. Understand? If you watch that movie in NTA, when you commit a crime, no matter how, that man will detect you. But this time around, it's not like that. Yes, he will come and tell us that this man went to obtain court injection. You know that they're searching for this one. You understand? You're supposed to go before him. Not him going before you to obtain court injection. It doesn't work like that. In a society where and look at the issue of NEPA. If we are having problems in USCC, likewise the issue of NEPA, they are telling them network this, network that. I said, Martin, we should do the right thing. We should do the right thing. I was in Suleja last week. One man said that God will not help you for what you know that you can be able to do. So I think we should just do the right thing. Thank you very much.
All right. Thank you, Donatus. Hello.
Madam Swat Kasawan.
Yes, welcome.
Good afternoon, ma.
Welcome, sir.
This is the Babuchi.
Welcome.
Just the laugh since last week. A whole white lion see some small hyena coming and he had to run away. A whole lion run away from the jungle. No. Yeah, no, it disappointed me. I'm telling you. So just call that name. You cannot act according to the name. And on the part of ESCC chairman, no, that statement, I don't like it. That you don't arrest me and you resign. No. You should not take it. It's taking it too personal. It's not done that way. This is government work. Soldier go, soldier come. Barak remain the same. You know does he know what will happen to him tomorrow? Just even before the day Jack safe today. You should not be coming and be bragging that he's this, is that. I don't like that statement. That's my take. Thank you. God bless you.
Okay, Elder. Thank you for the contribution. Hello. Yes, good afternoon.
Me, that is not my problem about this. Yes, another case about the higher law. My own is about power. Yesterday, Kim was reading news that Tanzania, they have shorted a power plant also. Power.
Hello, Sanasi. Hello, Sanasi. We can't hear you well. Your voice is really breaking.
Oh my God. Okay.
Can you use the WhatsApp or something, or just move around?
Let me try the WhatsApp is not coming. You know, but how we come through? Can you hear now?
I can't hear you. Call me back, please. Call me back. I'm really sorry. That audio is not clear. Hello.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon to you. Welcome.
My name is Gideon Covenant here.
Okay.
Yeah. Honestly, I don't see anything wrong with German state. He has the right to arrest Bello. And if Bello is proving stubborn, he has to go, he has to use any means to get it. In America, if a commissioner or a minister may resign if something happens, or if there's kind of if he's not performing well in quote, yes, if he's not getting his target. So I think that statement is in line with what's happening outside Nigeria. Also, he has the right and he has everything to ask Bello. If he means going to his village to arrest him, let him go. We want to see Bello in the office. Not to the shout, jump up and down to what he did to this current minister now. Is it no senator? Yes. What was that her name? This is the time for him to dance his own music, and he's running. It's a child's play now. As well. Let him go to any length to arrest him. I'm in support of that statement. Thank
Okay.
you.
All right. Thank you. Hello.
Yeah, hello, good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon, man.
Oh, sorry. Call back. Hello.
Hello, good afternoon.
You're welcome.
My name is Godfrey.
All right.
We are watching, as usual, the Nigerian drama. He has been declared, the Ayabello has been declared wanted, and they can't trace it. But he has all his phones, so they can't use that phone to track his particular location. Never still. I'm not surprised about all this. All those, that's why I think that elections should be free and fair. If elections are free and fair, that will reduce corruption. Because those who bring a particular person into power will be protected by the person in power. He knows what he's doing. If not, why should the EFCC chairman spend himself round to try to accommodate him? It is because he knows his relationship with the president. He knows his role in 2023. So he knows he has to be careful, tread cautiously. If not, why should he say, and even himself, he said, come to my village. All that kind of arrogance. Something, they say, if little child is dancing, something is hitting the drum. He knows that with the president, not much will happen. So, and then eventually, at the end of the day, after beating his chest, I will resign. What has happened? He has withdrawn the appeal. They are now from federal trying to find, because maybe pressure has come from somewhere. And if you hear Yaya all along, he's been saying President Tinubu should ensure that EFCC should want EFCC. He knows why he's saying that. That's why rigging, this election rigging will always run us down. The INEC chairman is responsible for this. When they rig somebody into power, the person protects those that rig it.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay. Hello. Hello. Yes. Good afternoon.
Now I can hear you loud and clear.
Yes, I can hear you.
My concern is about power. Now you hear what Discourse and Gencos and what are they saying? They are talking of the things, the obsolete of electricity and so on and so forth. That is not what we want to hear in Nigeria. I say yesterday, me and Umar, we were surprised to hear that Tanzania, they have to off their generation power because of excess power in Tanzania. And you know the population in Tanzania, they are just 59.5 million. So they have to off the power. The power was so in excess that they don't even know what to do with their power. Now, here we are, a giant of Africa. And I call ourselves a sleeping giant because we can't even generate 10,000 megawatts. In the other day, I talk of other countries, we have the generate and their population. And I talk of other means of generation. I talk of Morocco. Morocco, they generate hydro 1,395. On solar, they generate 740. In wind, they generate 1,165. We have all the environment. We have all the enabled environment. Go to Maiduguri and see how the sun is westing there. Go to Sokoto, Katsina, and some part of Kaduna and Kebbi, how sun is westing. Go to the southwest and see how the wind is blowing like tomorrow no day. Why can't we decentralize all this power in different means? We have hydro, we have solar, we have wind, we have all, so that we can be able to have affordable life. Now they now come with the issue of ban A, ban B, ban C. For since yesterday, I not see light for my house till I leave for this morning. No light in my house. You guys, your station, maybe you are in central area, maybe they categorize you as by A. As I'm speaking to you now, you guys are using generator. So these are the things. They should make electricity stay default before talking of any increment. They should reverse that electricity tariff increment. Nigeria, I don't know, even we are so docile that we can't even come out and say, government, we are in disagreement with what we are seeing. What is wrong with us? Maybe we never see anything yet. By the time the hardship and everything will unite us, then we will come together and tell the government that this policy is anti-people. Tell me, look at fuel queue. Go to the town now. Food at the rate of 700 naira per liter. Some places 750 naira per liter. And this is the country that have crude, that have oil, that have everything at their disposal. Not single refinery that is working. The lecturer is saying in 2 weeks our refinery will start working. How many days now? We are about to enter the month of May. So these are the things they should look at all these things and revise this anti-people policy. Thank you for giving me the privilege. Now go there.
All right. Thank you so much, Salasi, for the contribution. I see too many people even trying to reach out. But let me read messages and then see if we still have time to take on more of the calls because people have sent in their thoughts and we equally need to read that. Swat. EFCC knows where Yahaya Bello is. He's in Kogi Government House, but because immunity covers the governor and Government House, EFCC cannot go in there and arrest him because of immunity. We should remove immunity from governors and president. Bab Scooter sends that in. Mama Swat, I greet you wholeheartedly, my longest time. EFCC, come my village where I'm resting, says White Lion. You didn't put your name though. This one says, it's true that there is an end to everything. So a white lion can be afraid of a red lion. Yaya and the world heavyweight boxing champion is afraid of an unexpected boxer. It's well. Williams in Asoci sends that in. Good afternoon, Swat. It's very unfortunate that nothing will happen to Yaya Bello. It's business as usual. He called himself White Lion and now he's running. He should stand and show himself. Thumbs up to former Governor Ayo Fahishe from thumbs up to former Governor Ayo from Collins. Okay, thank you so much. Then another message here says, good afternoon, Barrister Swat. Our politicians are shameless the way and manner in which they put up drama without shame once they are under investigation. Yahaya Bello a few days ago was flexing security powers against Senator Dino. Now he's scared of the same security agencies. Haha. It is funny that the whole White Lion, they fear like this. The FCC should stop making noise, Shah. Now, the same pattern, because I doubt very seriously that after all said and done, Yahaya Bello will not be a free man. On power, no power gens or distributors is folding up. They cannot receive all the billions from federal government and use it to enrich themselves and now want to back out. No way. Nigeria will be great again, please. When? Francis O. from Duse sends that in. Good afternoon, Swat. Yahaya Bello knows once he checks in, other charges will roll out. Now, in the fear, the EFCC chairman, Sef, which one the back door and honor him by calling him? Where is the place of equality before the law? Why are you giving him preferences? If you can go behind to call Yahaya Bello, I don't think you have the honor to resign. Yahaya Bello's wife was declared wanted last year. What's the update? Says Damien. I think what's happening in Nigeria, we're not ready to move forward yet. Looking at the fact that the way Yahaya Bello saga is playing out like a movie, I think the world is laughing at us. It's so unfortunate, says Frank Nwuse. And then to this one from Paul West Iduhon from Kubwa, he said what he said is right because in case the president intervenes and asks him to drop the case, then he will honorably resign. Okay, then this one here said the Nigerian government knew all these inadequacies in power, generation, transmission, and distribution, yet they are quick to increase tariffs without properly addressing those issues. The people now classified in band A, B, and C are not even getting the power supply. It is well. And that's the problem because what power supply is equal, it seems is just a preferential treatment or some sort of selective picking. You tell people in this place to pay more, and then there is nothing to differentiate band A, band B. It's really not fair. I think people should just be taken back to there are various bans, and let them make the choice of migrating if they want to or something. Anyways, let's take a trending news and come right back so that we can wrap up on this.
And we'll begin with hashtag London is red. As
This is Nigeria Info.